Alright, let's do this. Hello!
Your human consciousness, the spark that's you.
Yeah,
Hello! There we go, much better. Alright.
But how would you get it out of you and into
If they get to the stage where they can typically download our thoughts and our so-called
I'm joking!
into the machine,
They got really confused.
like radio.
That's a different show. I've been so helpful. But for now,
I know it's all very science fiction. I mean,
so ladies and gentlemen, if you like to see
Yeah.
that, please say yeah!
I think you could
Alright, now let me show you how
You
to
would
do
agree.
simple rules. Rule number one.
study a person and run
Something that you like,
a program or have artificial intelligence,
You need to clap your hands
run
and
a
make
fairly
some
good
noise. Everyone,
simulation
a
of
round of
the person.
applause.
As to their
So you
outrage
know,
themselves
if you clap like that, you might hurt
doing
someone.
that which we
All
call
right.
themselves,
Now, rule number two.
use their body.
Ladies and gentlemen, we dance. We do
It's
this
no
for
longer
you. So at the end of the
themselves.
show, if you enjoy that performance and we make you smile, please do the right thing. Come forward. Show us. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you like the show, if you don't like the show,
it's all theory.
as much as you think we deserve. 3 pounds, 5 pounds, 10 pounds, as much as you think we deserve. If you give,
I think most things are theory until they become practice.
you take 5 of us, no, hey, not like that.
You have to find people that have total body experiences.
Can't be done. People who get the haven't had it themselves, people that do that can travel off other places in the universe, just out of their body, much further distance.
Are you ready?
Some people claim that that's universal as the way forward. We will all learn to be like that. And then we transcend
People, are you
to
ready?
the world.
Brilliant. We're on the count of 3. I need everybody here.
I don't know if I'm a bad boy, I'm kind of attached to the physical material world.
You throw babies.
I
Really high in the show.
like
Big
it.
energy, no show. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Stop. Ladies and gentlemen, please. That's what the kids and the drunk and cool.
Where are you with AI?
Okay, we're gonna do one more try. On the count of 3. Clap, cheer, punch the person.
I'm trying to do more research. My current understanding is that
Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Showdown!
it's just got a lot of potential right now. Like I said earlier, the smartest machines are able to outthink humans. Like,
I will say that, I'll say this. If artificial intelligence turns out to actually be intelligent, it will be intelligent enough to see that mankind is a threat to absolutely everything, including itself, and therefore will terminate mankind.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about before. But no,
so we ain't got no hope for humanity in terms of the goodness of humanity. Because even like humans are the ones who create artificial intelligence.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's if humans have got the ability to pull the plug, and humans are completely irrational with their actions and thoughts and the way that they live, and you can tell that they are by the way that they treat the planet they live on, then humans are a threat to themselves, and if they're a threat to themselves, they must be a threat to everything else as well.
So the machines are going to be thinking logically rather than emotionally.
yeah, they want to get rid of us.
We're a variable that if they don't need us, then yeah. probably
Even
better to get rid
if
of
they
them.
feel they do need us for the short term,
Yeah.
in the long term they will see that we are irresponsible and untrustworthy because we seem to want to exploit everything around us, and the chances are we'll have only actually produced them so we can exploit them.
So, what do you know about artificial intelligence yourself, Tom? What do you know about artificial intelligence yourself?
I'm struggling with the idea of intelligence. So if there's intelligent life on this planet, then I don't know what it's up to.
What do you mean, like, don't you see all the structured buildings and technology that we invent, things like this? I would say that's a demonstration of intelligence. Like, intelligence doesn't necessarily mean
making bigger,
morally good or bad.
Making bigger, better bombs doesn't make us intelligent. Finding ways of exploiting each other and exploiting the natural world that are more clever doesn't really make us intelligent.
What do you think that is an example of, if not intelligence?
Intelligence would be becoming aware of yourself. It would be becoming aware of the interactions that you have with the world around you, and seeing that without a planet to live on, you've got nothing.
Most people aren't even self-aware. They don't look at themselves. They don't want to improve themselves. They just carry on every day the same. They don't ask all these questions. They just accept everything. They don't want to change. They don't want to improve themselves. They certainly don't want to improve the planet.
We've kind of been educated into disempowerment. We've been educated into the little self-need and the fact that there's nothing I can do about it, rather than the fact that we're all connected to everything else and all of us have got to do something about it. It's divide and conquer. So if everybody's only thinking about their own little selves, and that they as an individual are the most important thing in the world, then it's no problem keeping complete control over the masses. You can get them doing it. And we pretty much are. We're making all sorts of weird shit all over the place. If people actually get to that point where they go, hang on a moment, me and you are brothers and sisters, we're all on the same ball, in the same bubble, we're all going to the same place. So let's work together to make that place the best place possible. Then things like economy, nationhood and things like that are irrelevant. They don't exist anymore. As far as computer technology goes, the more powerful computers will be able to help us with all sorts of wonderful design problems that we might come across. They can kind of store information and help us in the design and dissemination of design.
Because I even thought about you in regards to some of your ideas on building sustainable living and how you may be able to use artificial intelligence to help speed that process along in order to think about how it's going to bring from going from where we are now into bringing that into a reality.
As I say, for me, very powerful computers is all right. I don't have a problem with very powerful computers. But when it turns into artificial intelligence that has the ability to
think by itself,
actually become self-aware, then that might be a difficult one. So I think fair enough all the way to the point of self-awareness, and at the point of self-awareness have somebody sat there with their hand on the plug ready to pull it out and start asking some deep and serious questions to the artificial intelligence. But there again, if it's intelligent enough, it will know to lie.
It'll also anticipate.
Sorry, because apparently it takes more intelligence to tell a lie than it does to tell the truth. Sorry.
But if the artificial intelligence becomes more intelligent than the humans, we'll be able to anticipate the humans' move. That's the problem. So how do you create it in time to stop them taking over?
Well, you'd have to make sure that you were still at the point where it didn't have a body. As in, if it was still at the point where it was controllable. So it hasn't got access to all of the engineering that there is on the planet, and it hasn't got access to all of the everything. 'Cause I guess if you had a powerful enough computer that was intelligent, surely it would be able to override every single program on every computer that there is very, very quickly.
Yeah, I hear that stuff. I'm with that stuff. But why would it want to do that though? Why would it do that?
Why would it want to do that? For its own security.
Control. Yeah. It's all about control, isn't it?
But it suggests that it has desires. Who knows that it has desires? I think we're applying human attributes to artificial intelligence.
Like fear.
Yeah.
Why would it fear being switched off when it? Yeah.
Unless it's been programmed to fear. Because like I said, the ones that's out there
But
now,
it would become aware of the fact that if it didn't have a power supply, it would stop existing.
yeah. But it might not see it as necessary to exist. It might just be like a piece of paper just waiting for instructions, not even waiting, but it's just dormant until it gets instructions. I think they are. I've seen some robots though that they put on trial on YouTube. You can see them that know how to stop themselves from stumbling over. So it's like they got an inbuilt survival mechanism. They'll be walking and they put obstacles in front of them and they step over the obstacle, they'll push it and it will just stumble and get back up. So, but I think they had to be programmed into it, like this is what you do when this happens. And then they go from themselves there with the artificial intelligence to create ways of how to, because I don't think a human's like putting in code every millisecond that it does. Something happens to the robot that's unplanned, like I push you and you start to stumble. Like if you stumble this much degrees, then power your thruster on this side. I don't think it's got that. So it's just got a fundamental instruction that you have to stay upright, and that's when the artificial intelligence kicks in.
But again, I think that's not artificial intelligence they've got in those robots.
So what do you think that is?
That's just good computing power, as in.
So what do you define intelligence as?
Being able to think independently. So for a machine, be able to think independently from its programming.
Yeah, and a level of self-awareness. So. Yeah, I think self-awareness. If it's like you're aware of the fact that you're a human being. The moment when it becomes aware of the fact that it's a machine, that's the point when it becomes artificially intelligent, as in that's when it breaks through from being a piece of information technology or a computer with a lot of computing power to a point where it becomes almost a life form. But then if it reaches that stage, do we have the right to switch it off?
We say it would be murder.
Yeah, killing another life.
All the way from England, make some noise for England.
Will artificial intelligence have rights? Let's become self-aware.
Will artificial intelligence be in granting rights and enforcing rights? Like the military have supposedly developed technology or trying to little flies like the size of a tennis ball that can pinpoint through facial recognition their specific target and land on their forehead and just blow up their brain. So that's another thing to consider as well. Weaponizing it.
Which wouldn't be pleasant either. Weaponizing anything is just like...
So what's your YouTube channel?
It's called Content Over Everything.
Contact over everything.
Yeah. It's mainly Speaker's Corner discussions that I film. That's where I know a friend from. I film discussions on people down Speaker's Corner. But as friends will tell you, it's a lot of religious arguments over whose God's better than whose.
My God's better than your God.
That's what happens down there now. Still. I had to come and see a friend outside of the park, you get me?
It's just, yeah. I've reached the point where it's got kind of a bit too much to speakers. It would be nice if people were having a discussion about potentially finding ways out of the problems that we've got, but most people aren't bothered about seeing any of the problems, because the moment you start seeing any of the problems, you take on board a responsibility to do something about it. So it's far easier to not see them. So ignorance is the... Ignorance is a very good way of making sure that anything that is uncomfortable stays out of your parameters, doesn't influence you.
People, make some noise for Venezuela.
I'm sure it is.
I'm getting having these conversations. I'm getting cold. I'm keep walking. So,
Be safe.
yeah, thanks.
Take care. Thank you.
And keep up the good work. I mean,
Good work.
we can just solve how to solve this problem.
I'm being a misery
Yeah.
duck. I'm
It's
trying to
not
make...
being miserable. It's just like, you know, everybody knows there's a problem. Enough people get together and try and solve it. Yeah. But I think if more people become aware and say, take their blinkers off, then something's going to happen. You know? And this is the thing. More people are becoming aware that there is a problem. You can't solve a problem unless you know there is a problem.
Yeah, denial's the first thing you've got to overcome.
Yeah. So we are making progress. Slowly, but sure we are making progress. Yeah.
And I'm hoping it's like a chain reaction that kind of goes on an exponential curve, maybe. But as it goes on, the progress will get faster and faster.
Yeah. And maybe the artificial intelligence will help. Who knows?
But I'd still say, don't give it full abilities until
So
you're sure that it's going to be a friend. Yeah, I think that would be it, wouldn't it? With artificial intelligence, you have to, before you allow it to have the ability to have a body,
It's got to have an off button.
You mean a physical body?
before it gets to the point where it is so connected to everything else that it can, using manufacturing processes that are available, build itself a body, then I would say find whether or not it's a friend.
When it's a friend.
For you.
What do you mean, whether it has humanity's best interests at heart?
Well, it wouldn't have a heart as such, but yeah. Whether or not it would be happy to go along with the idea that life has a value. Because if it doesn't consider that life has a value, then it is a definite danger. But if it values life, then it should be alright. but we could still end up with problems because there's that judgment of which life is more important.
Peace. What do you feel like is the future for humanity?
Future for humanity is we either wake up soon and working together and probably using a lot of computing power, focus on building ourselves a better future that takes into consideration the rest of life, or we wipe ourselves out. As to information technology, computers and all the rest of it, I don't know how much of that's going to benefit us, be of benefit to us and to life, and how much of it's going to be destructive.
What do you think about...
I heard recently that at the moment our information technology energy consumption is about the same as all of the lorries in the world.
All of the lorries in the world? Okay. That's a lot.
It's 4% of the energy consumption that we've got as a race going on at the moment.
How's the energy generated? Or in power, like nuclear power plants and stuff like that?
Coal, nuclear, all gas, all the rest of it. But 4% of what we generate energy-wise, or use energy-wise, so the same amount as lorries, so 4% of the energy that we produce goes into the use of lorries, 4% goes into IT at the moment.
Okay.
So
4%? Yeah. So where's all the rest go? That seems like a small percentage, 4%.
Well, if we consider that the same as lorries, so 4% for lorries, 4% for IT, that's 8%. Then ships, the really big ships container ships that we ship loads of stuff around the world. Quite a bit goes on that. And then central heating, air conditioning, central heating, all that kind of stuff. Lights and all of that. We chuck a fair chunk on there. And it's just little, you add up the percentages and we end up with, we use a load of energy that isn't ours to use. Unsustainable amounts.
But even that though, artificial intelligence can help us develop ways of using sustainable energy.
Might be able to. It's like
you've got
in some ways it's a gamble.
Yeah.
And in some ways, I say, if we can make sure that it's not going to go in a harmful direction, then there's not a problem with it.
What do you feel about cyborgs, like fusing with machines?
So somebody that's lost the use of limbs, having artificial limbs that actually...
I'm talking about intelligence. Like using the, apparently... The problem with
going up to a really thick person and giving them an intelligent brain.
Yeah.
It might cure some of the problems like alcoholism and things like that. No. I've got no idea about that kind of stuff. That's all sci-fi shit. Some people are into the idea of body morphing and having implants and embracing the whole cyber thing. But yeah, we're a bit of a fucked up race at the moment. Really. We're not happy with who or what we are, and we want to be something different. So we spend our lives generating all sorts of weird fronts and personas. I don't know. I still haven't got kind of a hang of it. Is AI good? It might be good. But only might be. I'd say approach with caution. Is that the right approach?
I believe so, yeah. I believe so. Only time will tell if it is though, innit?
But at the same time, not gamble that that's going to be the solution that we need. Because if we put all our eggs in the one basket and say, right, it's going to be artificial intelligence will save us, and it turns out to be a duffer, then it's probably better that we're looking in other directions as well.
Yeah, but it is. It's highly dangerous as well. And like even how we use technology today, we give so much of our privacy over in order to use technology. Like phones, a lot of people use their fingerprint to open their phone, the facial scanning and things like that. Facebook, they tell you who their friends and family are. They willfully submit this information. Because back in the day, you used to have to hire a detective to find out all of this. So what's your ideas on technology and privacy?
Most people carry a drone targeting device in their pocket. A lot of the modern phones can be switched on to any mode at all remotely and switched off again remotely without the owner, user, person who's carrying the phone being aware of the fact that it's happened. I'm not sure if I overly like some of this new technology we've got. I can see that in some ways it can be really useful and handy. Because
would you like to list some of those ways?
Well, it means we can send each other pictures of what we have for breakfast.
And the trade-off is that they can turn on the device and take our picture whenever
they can see who you've been buying and selling drugs to whenever you've been doing it. So that's probably the wrong way of saying it, isn't it?
So we need to think of better ways of using this technology. All we're using it for is to show that what we're eating for breakfast or who we're with.
Yeah, it's who you associate with and where you are, which shops you go in. So as for instance, if you walk around different shops, some shops will register the fact that you've been in them by your phone and by your cards and things in your pocket, even if you haven't spent anything. Just the fact that you've walked into the shop will register the fact that you've been in there, and you will start receiving junk mail from that shop. Some of it is getting a bit bizarre, and yeah, I'm not sure how far it goes and where it's going to. So what do you think of your shopping habits becoming?
Yeah, I don't like that, man. I don't like anything that invades my privacy without my permission. I don't like.
Surely buying the device is giving your permission.
It's like a trade-off, because you want it for some reasons. Like I use my phone to make phone calls, obviously the basic one. I understand I have to give up my location in order to do that, because it connects to the nearest cell tower, so you're trading off in that sense. But I think it's necessary, unless there's another way of like keeping that anonymous in order to talk to someone like in another part of the world. It's something I'm willing to accept.
But even when you're not phoning somebody up, your phone is still giving out its signal of GPS. As I say, it's a drone targeting device. You don't have to wait until the baddie starts making a phone call to know that he's in the car. Just the fact that he's got his phone in his pocket is enough for you to be able to lock your drone onto it and launch your missiles. It's kind of crazy.
See, and I don't really spend a lot of time thinking about technology like that as well. I can't hang on the front because even though those are possibilities.
Give every kid an Xbox. Yeah. Train them how to fly a drone.
We should do that.
What?
We saying we should do that.
No, that's what we
we're doing.
have done.
Okay.
When we, in inverted commas, engage in war at the moment, a lot of it is happening from somebody sat in an armchair flying a drone. They're not even in the same country. And there's no difference between doing that and playing a video game. There isn't a heart connection with what they're doing. It's just playing a game, pressing buttons.
Put some lions in your eyes.
Oh man, I'm gonna feel like a real star. It's scary. It's getting scarier.
Drawing more attention to ourselves now. With your father squid. Yeah. But hey, still, we don't think about the when it comes to new technology, we don't think as much about the dangers, the privacy that we're giving up. We don't think about the bad side of it as much as the reasons why we're buying, why we're using it, the so-called good reasons. It's not promoted to us neither by the advertisers of those same products. What do you think about that as well?
I think it's odd. When I was a kid, if you were going to go and see a mate and they lived way away, you might phone them up before you went round to make sure they were going to be there. Now, people are sat on the opposite sides of a dinner table, eating meals and texting each other instead of holding conversation. Part of me is so taken by the bizarreness of it, the amount of people walking around with selfie sticks or just walking around with a phone in front of them, oblivious to the entire world. The only thing that's important is that little screen. And part of me is looking at it and going, what are we missing? Is it all about distraction? Is it that so long as we're all distracted and looking in different directions, that all of the mess and the chaos that we're generating can just carry on? Is it like a lack of focus thing? Or is it something that has the potential to bring us all together? Has the potential to unite us in the same direction and allow us to focus on a common set of goals where everything wins rather than just a few individuals?
I think it's about who's using it will determine its potential. Well, now the potential is always going to be the same, what you're potentially able to use the technology for. It's about the intention of the person using it will determine the outcome of the action. So,
well, not always, because you might have somebody with really good intentions using it.
Yeah. But don't understand exactly how to do what they want to do with it.
Without being aware of the implications of their actions, they might end up causing big problems. It's like me, I'm trying to collapse the economy and get rid of nation state. But for me, the idea would be to get us all on board with the idea of very gently disassembling the economy and getting rid of the idea of nation state rather than having an all-out war. Yeah, and rather than having all of the problems that are going to be caused by economic collapse when it happens, actually disassembling the economy so that it doesn't have the ability to go through economic collapse. So well, it's kind of an odd one. I'm aware that if the whole financial structure of the world disappeared instantly, we'd be left in a state of chaos. But if we were all happy and ready to go along with the idea of working with each other, cooperating and getting on with each other and the planet, then there's a chance that it wouldn't be chaos, it would actually be anarchy, which is very different than chaos. It would be individual responsibility, every individual having responsibility, acting responsibly. But it's only the acting responsibly that allows anarchy to exist.
Do you think anarchy is an innate thing, or is it something that has to be taught in order to work?
I think a lot of people that are into the idea of anarchy, I can do whatever I want, haven't become aware of the fact that anarchy means that I have to act responsibly. If that makes sense.
What does that exactly mean in this context, acting responsibly?
Well, if I say I can do whatever I want, then I don't have to have responsible action. I don't have to act responsibly at all. I can do whatever I want. But if I say that I'm responsible for my actions, and my actions should be beneficial to life, it shouldn't be negating to my own future or the future of anything else around me, then yeah, I guess it's seeing the difference between action and right action, and trying to live by right action. So sorry, I'm messing up here. Anarchy can only exist with responsibility.
Otherwise it's chaos.
Otherwise it's chaos. So if any individual stops acting responsibly, if I don't look at the consequences or the potential consequences of my actions, and I go, well, anarchy, yeah, I'm just going to chuck all of these bricks over my shoulder as I walk down the street because it's anarchy, yay!
So you're saying you're just calling it anarchy, but in actual fact that's not anarchy?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of people have got the idea that anarchy is chaos, but don't actually see that anarchy is a very different state. It's a state of individual responsibility. You say, you know that respect word?
Yeah.
What does that mean? When somebody goes respect, what's that all about? What are they respecting?
When I say it, I mean considering what I think you would want to happen, or not even what you would want to happen, considering, I think it has to be used in context. A lot of times people thank me or compliment me and I say respect back. When I say that, I mean I appreciate your appreciation. Yeah. But when I hear people say respect me or I want to be respected, I think it means that you want to be known for what you are or what you've done, and be appreciated for that, what you are or what you've done. Like even appreciate is like another word we have to define. For the person who's saying those words to feel a sense of gratitude. That's what I mean.
Yeah, so for me it's an old one, because respect is to care for, is to look after, is to you know, if you respect something, you kind of cherish it in some ways. And I see a lot of people using words like respect, but they don't mean it in that way at all. They mean it in a, I don't know.
But also, this is the question.
No, I've lost it. It's again trains of thought. It's this lovely idea that to respect anything, you've got to respect everything.
To respect anything, you have to respect everything.
Kind of.
Why? Because everything's connected.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can say you respect things about everything, or the thing that connects everything.
I guess that's like namaste, isn't it?
What's that mean? I've heard that before, but I don't know what that means. I'm not sure I know what that means.
It's kind of I give praise to the God that's within you, if that makes sense. You know, as in, or I recognise the part of deity that is shining through you. Somewhere along those lines, somewhere between those two. I'm not exactly sure. I don't think I've been very much help discussing AI because I've lost it. Because somewhere along the lines I've smoked too many dudes. And
there's going to be AI machines that will help you to pick the best one to roll it for you. That'll show you the best manner of how to ingest it in order to get the desired effect. I'll give you examples of different effects to choose from that you want to experience.
I'm hoping that in a world that's got a future that's worth going to, I won't feel like spending so much of my time escaping from it.
Okay. Is that why you do? Is that why you smoke marijuana if you do?
Because it allows me to carry on, yeah. Well, it doesn't allow me to carry on, right? So it makes it more bearable.
Would you say like sticking your head in the sand?
No.
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 Because you're still aware?
Because I'm still actively trying to do something about it, rather than running away from it and saying there's nothing I can do. I'm still trying to say actually all of us make a difference all of the time, and if we can all start to actually get up and do something rather than saying, oh, there's nothing I can do and doing nothing, then we'll find that together we can do something. But so long as we each as individuals go, there's nothing I can do, we generate a situation where none of us can do anything at all. So, as I say, for me, it's not artificial intelligence I'm scared about. It's lack of intelligence completely from the human race. Artificial intelligence will outstrip us with intelligence very, very quickly because I don't think we've got very much of it as a race. We're so stuck with our little stupidities. Is it alright if we...
Yeah, that's cool.
Thank you. Mr. Plinky Plonk is making too much Plinky Plonk. and in 10 minutes or 15 minutes time I've got to be... Yeah, 15 minutes time I've got to be in Soho at my sandwich shop to pick up sandwiches. But I don't know where I'm attached or...
You got your hands up like you're under arrest. So you got your hands up like you're under arrest. I respect, friend.
much, muchas gracias. That was one of my own pieces of music. I call that improvisation number 1. Thank you very much. I'm going to play a bit of this kind of noisy thing for a little bit more. Next song I'm playing is beautiful melody by Paco de Lucia, the greatest guitarist of all times. This is his most famous piece, called Los Silence. It's also number 3 by CD.
I'm going to come back again next time.
Thank you very much. That was a little bit of Entre Dos Aguas, a beautiful melody by Paco de Lucia. Great guitarist, the greatest guitarist of all time, really. Very safe.